What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about this new strategy that me and Bolts have been using. Um, it consists of two things really, but you can always add a third confluence. I would sub in something like key levels or supply and demand for this one. So let's go over the strategy. It consists of two parts, like I mentioned. It is the Fibonacci retracement tool and your volume profile. Now, both of these things go hand to hand with each other. Let's talk about the Fibonacci real quick first, and we will go to silver for this example just because, just because. Alrighty, so let's turn this off real quick so I can lock in. Let me see. 2300, where is that? 2300. Boom, that's 2300. All right, so pretty sure I dragged it from here to here. Yeah. So this is a play that I took last week on silver using this strategy right here. So let's talk about what I just did right there. So let's just get all of this out of the way just to clean it up a little bit. Where's replay? We'll just do this. Okay. So boom. Let's say this is our current price action, right? Now, when you're using the Fibonacci tool, the way you want to place it is dragging it from a swing low to a swing high. If you're in an uptrend, if you're in a downtrend, you would swing it from your swing high to your swing low. So right here, we just had a really big move to the upside. So I'm going to be playing upside. So what I'm going to do here is I'm dragging my Fibonacci tool, which is this guy right here, Alt F. You're going to grab it from the low point to the high point, right? And now my Fibonacci settings are this right here. I keep only these two levels right here because these are the two levels that you're going to be using. You could keep the 50%, but I personally don't use it. I find that the 61% and the 78% are the most kind of, you would say, respected levels of the Fibonacci. So with that in mind, we're going to keep those in there, okay? Now, again, we dragged it from our swing low to our swing high because we're in an uptrend. If I wanted to play the downside of this move, I would be playing the swing high to the swing low. And now I would be trying to short these two levels right here, right? So let's talk about the trade, right? What did I do? Why did I take this trade, etc., right? Now, like I said, we were in an uptrend, right? So what I did here was I longed 2300 because we were in an uptrend. I dragged my Fibonacci from the swing high to the, from the swing low to the swing high. So I'm playing upside, okay? Now this demand zone was my take profit because if you go back in time on the 1 hour, you can see that we do have a demand zone here. Go back. This level I've had for a while, to be honest. So it just kind of stays there and it worked out perfectly for us. So I kind of just went over the fib, but I'm gonna go into it a little bit more in depth on how to play it. So our example right here is an uptrend. So I'm gonna use a uptrend example right now, and I will do a downtrend example later on. So back to what I was saying, your 61 and your 78% are gonna be the most respected levels. The 78 being the really respected level, and that is the level that we used in this scenario. So right in the uptrend, I'm looking to go long. We came up to this 2300 level that I've had for a while. It's a psych level. It works out perfectly fine. We have orders stacked there all the time, okay? Now our 78% on the fib was 22995, one tick off of my key level. So boom, that is two confirmations right there, okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to turn on our indicator for VRVP. That's your volume profile. Now, if we go out a little bit and we zoom out and let this thing load, let it refresh. Boom. So you can see right here at 2300, what is right here? We have the beginning of a low volume shelf. You can see all this right here is considered a high volume node. All of this right here. Okay. This little green area is considered a high volume node. You can see this is the most volume within the chart at the moment. Now at 2300, once we dip down below that, we're entering what's considered a low volume shelf, an area that has low volume. Obviously, it's not something like this down here. This is your pretty much low volume node. That is your extreme low volume node down here as well. All this, you can consider this a low volume node. Now, let's talk about what happens at these low volume shelves and low volume nodes. These are areas where there's no volume or little volume. What does that mean? These areas are either an area of acceleration to the trend or an area to reject. So you can go back and you can go study this. You can back test this for hours and hours and hours, and you will see that whenever we tap into a low volume node, we either reject or it's a straight shot straight through that low volume node. So that is 3 confirmations right there for me. And that is how you play these low volume nodes. On the other side, for your high volume nodes, you can expect a lot of chop and a lot of back and forth with buyers and sellers within those areas. Now, essentially, in the perfect world, the way you want to play these is from low volume node to a high volume node. That is how you would play volume profile. From a low volume node to a high volume node, expect chop at the high volume node, and then it would dip back in and kind of retrace back to a low volume node, just over and over and over and over and over again. That is pretty much how volume profile is used in the strategy. So yeah, that's 3 confirmations right there. We had our low volume shelf, which we rejected right here. You can see we started at around 980. We go here to 980, and what happened? We rejected it once, twice, 3, pretty much 4 times, right? So that is 3 confirmations right there. I'll go over it again. We had our 78% Fibonacci level. We had our key level at 2300. We also had orders stacked up there. And then we also had our low volume shelf at 980, which is only what 4 ticks off from our entry. So that is pretty much the kind of essential trade right there. Now you could either take this trade from one Fibonacci to the other. So you could have took it from 2300 to 23115, which is your 61% as a take profit. But like I said, it's just a continuation trend. So I rode through that. Obviously I did watch it and I had it in mind when I was doing this trade, just because we could have rejected off of it or the trend is going to continue, which is exactly what it did. And I took it to my demand zone that I had up here. So my take profit was 23,200, pretty much the demand zone. Very easy, very simple trade. And that is an example of how you use the fib and volume profile strategy for upside. Now let's try to find a downside example. We'll take replay mode off. Let's see. We're going to drag it from this high to this low. All right, so what I'm looking at right now is to have a continuation of downtrend. I'm looking for a retest of the 61% and the 78%. Now you can see that we actually did chop around the 61 and the 78 right here. So essentially what I'm looking for, this will probably hit around tomorrow or Thursday. I'm looking to short 22,895 or 22,790 on silver. Why? Because you can see we're in a relatively low volume area right here. Let it refresh. Compared to up here, we're dipping into these lower volume nodes. Right here, you can see this is perfect actually right here. And this actually lines up. This lines up with our 78% level. Okay. So I'm looking to play the reject and continuation of the downtrend right here at 22,895. That's two confirmations right there. We can go on book maps and see if there's any orders stacked up there, either at 22,900, which would be a psych level, or 22,895. So let's do that. Mm, 22,900, right? So I mean, there's not really any orders right here, so it is a bit of a long shot at the moment, but we could see some orders being moved up here. You can see that we do have a couple. We have 10 and 12 versus 3, 5, and 22,700 is an area. Yeah. So boom, that is the setup that I'll be looking for this week and maybe next week, depends on what price decides to do here. So that's one example. I want to find an example, kind of like a live one, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like a live one. Let's see. Okay, this is actually perfect. So this was actually this morning. Essentially what I did was I brung it from our Monday highs to our Monday lows right here. And you can see that we're in a downtrend, correct? We're in a downtrend, correct, right? I dragged it from our swing high to our swing low, right? Now, what are you looking for in this scenario? You're looking for the 78% and the 61% reject. If you go to our 78%, you can see that we rejected it fucking pretty much perfectly. Obviously, it's not going to be to the tick every single time, but relatively, you want to have your stop not 2 points on NQ. 10, 20 points is kind of like a normal stop loss for NQ. That's why you really want to be careful with your sizing on NQ. 10 to 20 points can do a lot of fucking damage. You know what I'm saying? So, the way you would have played this, personally, I would have played it from the 78%, and I would have took some profit down here at the 61%. That's what, pretty much 20 points. That's a good amount of profit right there. You can see right here that we're actually starting a low volume shelf right here at the 78%. So that is fucking perfect. That's perfect. That is a good trade. You see, the higher we go, the lower volume, starts to go, right? So that is a perfect setup. That was actually this morning. That is pretty much A1. That is the kind of best thing I could do to show you guys how the strategy works. I'll be trading it more and more. The more I kind of find out what works with it as a third confluence, either key levels, order flow, or supply and demand. Okay. But that's really it. Just two confirmations. That's all you're looking for. Be patient. Just be patient. That's probably the biggest part of the strategy, is being patient. Wait for price to hit those levels. So right now, you can see we're kind of climbing back up. So I would wait for the same setup, see if we reject, see if we bounce, and just play that move. Very easy, very simple. Yeah, if you don't really understand the strategy after that, good luck. good luck. Nah, I'm just playing. But that's really all there is to it. I'm trying to think if I could talk about anything else, but not really, to be honest. So that is going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoy. Hope you guys learned something, and I will see you guys in the next one.